Welcome back, everyone. Yes, it's that time again. Time for me, all of you, and we've got Jimmy here to chill out on a little pre-show stream. Yes, time to look back at last night. Wow. Time to think about tonight's show. Wow. And time to hang out with Jimmy and all of you. Mega wow. So I hope you're all doing good. There he is, the man himself. And oh no, a little bit of feedback, is there? No, we're okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. I think we're good. Let's hope we're good today, Jimmy. How you doing, man?
I am fantastic, Kev, man. I am so happy to be here with you and everybody over here in the safe space. I hope everyone is feeling a little bit safe for the pre-show. We don't want to spook anybody because I know you got some big things happening later on today with the Bill.
Yeah, if things get spooked out, it's the perfect time, right? Because we've got Bill coming on later. The spiritual warrior, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. I can't think of a better way to follow up last night, and what's been a really stellar week of shows, not only on the main show at night, but hooking back up with Jimmy as well. But Bill being to round everything off, and you know, I had a little smile on my face last night when I finished the show with Max Egan, because he was talking about thinking like a warrior. And then tonight's show, it's going to be with a spiritual warrior. And Bill often talks about being in that warrior mode. And warrior mode, it's got many aspects to it. And I tell you, what a brilliant follow-up. I don't plan these things. It just happens, Jimmy.
I know. Well, you know, the thing is, that's the thing about the Kev Baker show is there's always this sort of synchronicity that takes place with sort of maybe a thematic that happens, you know, accidentally. You talked about something and then all of a sudden, you know, this person shows up.
I'm trying to be Clyde Lewis. Look at him, man. He's a master of it. I'm trying to teach myself to be like the Yoda of radio. And that's like the biggest compliment I could pay anyone in radio. The Yoda of radio. Clyde Lewis looks nothing like Yoda. But you get me, Jimmy, right? He's got this way of picking up on things randomly. Doesn't even know what it's going to mean 2-3 months down the line, but he does it, and it works. And I reckon when we've got 20 years under our belt on here on the Kev Baker show, touch wood, keep me going, lungs, I reckon we might just be able to somewhat try and do what Clyde does, because only Clyde can do what Clyde does, and only I do what I do. But you enjoyed last night then, Jimbo? It was, I did tell people it was a show that was it was a long time in coming, because there was a lot of information that people were left to fill in the gaps in between Max's videos and last night. And I never say anything. It's like Vegas. What happens off air stays off air, Jimmy. And I couldn't tell people I'd spoke to Max. Well, I could have told them. Max never told me not to, but you know, we talked behind the scenes, and that's how I kind of knew how powerful the show was going to be. I had no idea it was going to unfold into the show that it did become. And even with connection problems, I still think that doesn't take anything away from Max, because it was all Max. I mean, it's one thing being a host, but it was his information. It's something that he's gone through, and what he went through, Jimmy, dang. I mean, I don't know if I could have handled that, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because I've seen the state that Max was in, and Max is a worldly guy. He's well-travelled, you know. He's well-experienced, and to see the state that he was in, and he's still processing that now. And you hear about people being targeted all the time, you think nothing of it, but I don't know, that's the first time I've seen somebody in the aftermath of an event like that, and I don't know if I could do it. And Max had even said people got in touch with him to say that they know people that went through something similar. not such a happy story at the end. You know, other people gone through it and didn't get through it quite as quickly as Max did. So I don't know if I could take that, Jimmy.
Well, that's the thing about it, is that, you know, he had something happen, and it happened in front of everybody. So he had something happen to him. He had this intense impulse to upload a video. He drove to town. He found this connection. He uploaded the video. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I mean, he went through what he went through. And then yesterday, I mean, and, you know, coming on your show and then talking about it with everyone, plain and simple, without any, you know, I mean, it was really an experience that happened to him. So how that experience happened, you know, that topic maybe for another discussion with him at another time, you know, what he comes up with, because he still sounds like he's processing a lot of what happened.
It's like he says, I mean, what do you compare that to, Jimmy? There's no point of reference. It's totally like something entirely unique. So you can't say, oh, well, it's that. Or so I get where Max is coming from there. And yeah, I'm really proud of the fact he came on to TFR and the Kev Baker show to talk about that. He's been on with Freeman Fly now as well, and I love Freeman Fly.
Yeah.
And even though I spoke to Max last night myself, I'm going to listen to what he said with Freeman as well, because Freeman's a great guy. Had him on Freaky Friday a couple of times, and yeah, if you haven't checked out Freeman Fly, I'll bring up his YouTube.
Yeah,
here.
He's great. You know, he's one of the OGs too.
Oh, big time, dude. He's got a sharp mind, that fella. That's
I had
sure.
I had Jamie Henshaw on my show a while back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. She's doing something else now, and she's gotten heavily into a specific type of religion that she's really changed a lot of her viewpoints on what she thinks and what she thought. It's pretty interesting. You should have her on. You should reach out to her, man.
I've had her on before, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I've had her on in the past. Yeah, yep.
She's got, like I said, she's gone into something where she's doing some orthodox type of religion, and she's had like a life-changing experience. It's pretty interesting.
It's funny how we're all on our paths, and
I know. You know, it's funny. You know, in that conversation, you know, it was interesting, and I think you'll agree with me that, you know, over time, there's a lot of individuals that are out in the public eye. They do broadcasting, and they go on their paths, and each one goes through their thing. And lots of people end up, becoming really, really into the Bible. You know, lots of people become really, really religious, even though they weren't when they started out in the alternative media. And at some point, lots of people just turn completely into the Bible and realize that there's a lot there that they didn't see before. So it's interesting, you know, and you're going to have Bill on later.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put myself in a box, and I hate boxes, I suppose you would have to put me into that Christian kind of pigeonhole. But, you know, as I got more into that information, and I could see how it was very relevant to today, especially working with Anthony Patch, I still felt I was somewhat isolating large parts of the audience.
Yeah.
Because I'd come from a place of probably you'd have to describe as pure atheism. And I always remembered when I was listening to shows, and they did go very, very kind of staunchly militant Christian, as I call it. You know, it's not that the people themselves turned me off. It's just that I couldn't really relate to it. So that's why I try and keep it as secular and inclusive as I can. And our own belief systems, they should be something that's personal. In the end of the day, they're a belief system. So, I mean, come on, we shouldn't let that divide us. That's why I try not to take it on air, but I'll take Bill onto the show. And Bill, you see, he doesn't preach to people. He doesn't tell people they have to convert today or they're going to hell. He's not like that. And that's the kind of thing that appeals to me. And yeah, so that's why I go down that road with Bill. But I've said to you, I've said to the audience before, I would love to get somebody from the Islamic world akin to Bill, same sort of stuff he does from that side of things. Go to a rabbi with Dybbuk boxes and stuff like that. I would happily do all that because I want to keep everyone included and show that, as opposed to being divided by books we read, when you actually start listening to people and talking to people with different ideas and different beliefs, dang, it all starts fitting together. And you realize, we're not that different after all. So, you know?
Well, plus, we all, and especially in this alternative media that we find ourselves in, the kind of things that we see on a daily basis, the darkness that we see that's out there in humanity, that we all need that one thing or something that we can cling to, that light in the darkness, if you will. Something for all of us. And so, maybe Christianity might not be for some people, but that doesn't mean that there's not a common thread running through all people, whatever they may believe in, like you were saying. And we all deserve the opportunity to, feel good and have a loving world to live in. So, I mean, however that transmutes.
Jimmy, you know what I like as well when you talk about this kind of thing, like the gods are God today and multiple gods. But, I love that show, The Vikings, like the main one on History Channel. And you get them, they talk about their gods all the time because obviously their gods were so important to them. You got Odin and Loki and all the rest of them that they talk about up in Valhalla and all the rest of it. And, I don't know, there's something really fascinating about all that stuff. And working with Max from Germany, having him on the show, that, as opposed to the facts and the history, kind of taking the dramatic edge off it that you get on the TV with the TV show. I think Max's side of things is it makes it a far, far more interesting story. It's a far more wondrous time, It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Deep conversation for a safe space, ladies and gents. I get it. And before we go any further, Jimmy, this is how we roll here, right? This is how we roll. We go into the chat room. It's like Freaky Friday on here every day because these people in the chat room, I can't speak highly enough of them. We've got Lich in there. We've got First World Problems, Jason. We've got Jose Ramon, Frances. Yes. Rosie Gal Adventures. We've got Alan Hazard. United we stand, divided we fall. Exactly. I think that's why they give us so many of these books that do divide us to choose from. Hoop D's says, or closed hand meaning zero. You see, this is what happens, Jimmy, when you read it back to front. You catch the end of a conversation and you trace it backwards. I forgot that. So we got Sid in there with his unicorns, and Sid has been telling me, get this, there's been a lot of drama, a lot of stuff happening around the blue chickens. I've been missing it all. I got told CW Chanter, somebody who tirelessly pursues the chicken people, right? He had mentioned me in one of his videos. I hate being talked about in a video, right? So I didn't go anywhere near it, Jimmy. And from that point forward, at the end of last year, I've just stayed clear of all of that. Because I tell you, it's a crazy, crazy kind of world getting mixed up and trying to tell people what the blue chicken cult and all that kind of things is all about. Because I don't know, man, that was a strange time when we were covering that on the channel.
Yeah, it was.
Strange time. Yeah, strange people.
And these are strange times we find ourselves in. So it's no wonder that there was strangeness going on around that whole David Wilcock scenario over at...
oh, come on, man. Don't bash him. At the end of the day, that man had to go and get new teeth because the cabal were chasing him that hard he ground his own teeth down. So come on, Jimmy. All right. Now, Jimmy, don't question the truth, okay? We've also got in there Marcia. Great to see you, Marcia. Juliana's in there. We love you too, Juliana. We'll get some tunes on here, Jimmy, see? Who else we got? We got Chris. Has anyone seen the latest Dr. Paul Cottrell video? I don't know. If you don't know about him, he's at Harvard and he's talking about coronavirus. Latest video, very strange, and he's using code to convey a message. Dang, I'll need to check that out, Chris. Thank you. Hang on, I'll write that down. I've never heard of that.
I had an opportunity to see a video of the plane with the Americans being taken to the base, and I happened to see these just the other day on your show. We were talking about why aren't they showing up over there with all these high-tech stuff, and then here we are. You see this video. Look at those suits those guys are wearing.
Yeah, that's right out of like 12 Monkeys or one of these Contagion movies, dude. Yeah.
But I mean, how come, why aren't they arming, the Chinese with some of that equipment or showing up there with that, trying to help them out? That's what I mean. So it's clear we have it. So if something happens, I guess everyone will be walking around in those.
Stop it, Jimmy. Stop it. You're scaring people. We can't talk about that. Can't talk about it. It scares people. Okay? This is the safe space. This is where people... We can't even shout in here, dude. We can't even, like, say, want to go to the toilet. You got to give it jazz hands and points of privilege and keeping your voice down in case you offend somebody. Don't be telling them there's a killer virus on the loose, man. You maniac.
Well, it's intense. And, some of these cities now have been thrown into total and complete martial law. And it's to the number of about a third of the population of the United States at this point that people are shut down. So, I mean,
Brett in the chat room, Brett Hitchcock, if you don't know who the blue chickens are, stay that way. Remain that way, brother. Honestly. It's a rabbit hole that goes round and round and round in circles, and do you know where that rabbit hole comes out? Right at your own... Yeah, exactly. You go right... You get it. It's not a rabbit hole anymore. It's not good. So yeah, we've got Mannerus in there. Oh, Sid's getting angry. What's up, Sid? What's up? You getting angry at reality check? There's no... You see, all love and harmony, and then I go and mention the blue chickens, and it all goes wrong, Jimmy.
I know. Well, it's good. You got the love and harmony in there at least. A little chunk.
So what do you make of last night when we were talking with Max about this new, almost like a new virtual world that's been like created by whoever, who knows what, but a virtual place that it's indistinguishable from this almost, apart from minus the odd Mandela effect here or there. But that concept, Jimmy, the Archons, call them what you will, these things that do treat us like we're in some kind of farm, as Max calls it, Westworld. Brilliant. Can't think of a better way of putting it, right? But whoever it is, it's... I don't know if your speakers are up loud again. Maybe it's your headphones. I don't know. It's weird, dude. It feeds back through your mic.
It's weird, man.
I know, because 1 minute... I know, I'm watching you. You didn't even move. And it's definitely not my new groovy soundboard, because it's fine with everyone else.
Well, I turned everything down. Maybe let's see what happens there.
Yes, what do you think, dude? Archons, that kind of thing.
Well, what I think is...
Recycled. I tell you, there's a lot in there.
Well, what I think is that we have the internet that presents itself to us as it is, and for a lot of people staying tied in and tucked into this internet and to this reality, it's easy to mirror some sort of reality on electronically that doesn't actually exist when you look out the window. So when I'm on here and I'm immersed in this, at some point, this will be VR enabled, right? I mean, at this point, do we know that this isn't a virtual reality? I mean, this is really what they talk about, when we've talked about it in the past on your show many times about hyper reality.
Yeah, that and the whole kind of the overlaying of augmented reality onto our reality, and then the overlaying of a virtual reality onto our reality. And you're right, Jimmy. We talk about the holographic universe. We talk about the electric universe, both of which Max mentioned last night. The simulation, all of these different concepts and ideas, I think they're all very much in play. And there is something to what Max says about this whole recycling. And as opposed to, the question being, who are we? It's more a case of we just need to remember who we are, because we've done this before.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you another part of the conversation that he was bringing to the table yesterday that was extremely interesting to me was this this beaming of light that he described and this sort of downloading of this information. Because I've been doing some work on some different technologies recently, and one of the things that I found out was that it's possible to the third eye area in the skull is an area where information can be basically put through, electronically. So they were doing research with these devices that they were sticking to these children's heads, and they were implanting signals into their heads wirelessly through these devices. But these devices were touching the skin. But the reason I'm even bringing this up is because a while back, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it on your show first, was these lasers that they were using that were not, they were just outside the spectrum visible to the human eye, but that they could sit in a coffee house and beam a signal into your head and make you think about getting a croissant or whatever. So we know that exists. So if there's some sort of a system, some sort of a delivery system that could deliver that beam directly to an individual, and he said he had one of those he said he had this phone,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Yep.
I only use it when but see, still,
Yep.
when you have that device, then you could be triangulated off of that device, even if you don't have service there and you think it doesn't work.
I know, dude. Yep.
So they may have used that cell phone to, target him and then use that delivery device to beam that signal right into his head and make him go completely nuts. So, I mean, it's possible. I mean, honestly, I would not even doubt it for 1 minute. The technology is possible to do that.
No, I'm totally with you there. Totally with you. Some of the technology that we know about, I think of the stuff that we don't know about. Everyone talks about that voice to skull kind of stuff. And you're getting into the realms now. They've got technologies. Forget voice to skull. It's like 4K vision and audio to skull, and it's just like a thought of your own, and I do, it does make you wonder, where does that technology come from? And as Max says, I mean, how can you tell? Because how can you differentiate between something this world or something interdimensional? You can't tell. And then how do you separate what you're being shown, what's fact and what's fiction? And I tell you, dude, like I said, I don't think I could handle something like that.
Well, plus, we get fed a static story generation after generation that this is the way things were. And so everybody's coming from that place, from that historic place, that this is history. But it's just a story, man, and it's like everybody believes that story because that's the story they were all taught. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's really what happened or that's the real story. And so, there's another story about what people think about what may or may not have happened or how we got here, how we're in this space now, how we got here.
People might think, well, why do you even care, Kev? Why is it important? It's really important right now because we're right at the end of one of these damn cycles. And if we don't remember, things from the past, or we don't get a grip of what this is all about, not that I think any one of us can truly understand or comprehend what the hell's going on in this simulation, in this reality, call it what you may. But I don't know, it just feels like, and especially since the turn of the year, it just feels like things have gone down. It's like they've dropped a gear and they're just going light speed, Jimbo. And I don't know, when I had that conversation with Max off air, it just made a lot of things make so much sense. that whole thing where you can have two people and they're just in a totally different reality, although they're still in the same physical space. And I think a lot of that's going on, and I don't know. I don't know if it's the demons that myself and Anthony Patch used to talk with on the other side of CERN and a D wave. I don't know if it's things that have always been here. I honestly don't know, but there's something big going on, Jimbo, and we're here to witness it.
I know these are definitely times. I mean, I look around at the country that I'm living in, and seriously, just a short time ago, it was a completely different place. It's like the world's definitely moving forward, and doesn't seem like we're moving forward with it. On a spiritual or a humanistic way, like we're progressing technologically, but we're not progressing emotionally or spiritually at the same time. And so, things are out of balance. And so we have reached a place where it's almost impossible to distinguish augmented reality, virtual reality, and the actual reality that we see outside the window. Because if you're watching the news constantly and you're looking for this stuff, I mean, how much of it is specifically set out there to make you happy, to create the kind of reality that you want to see? You know what I mean? So if you're out there searching for the end of the world, say, for example, every time you go do a search, you see stuff that has to do with the end of the world, and it's because the system that's out there is trying to present you with what it is it thinks you're looking for, and it doesn't show you anything outside of what you want to see. It puts blinders on everything else and just gives you the world that you want to see.
That's why I
And so,
stopped Facebook, man. That's why I stopped all that. Bad news,
yeah.
Facebook. That algorithm's even worse than a search engine. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's almost metaphoric in the sense that we talk about how we create our own realities, right? And then we look at what we see when we go to the internet. What does the internet give us back? What stories are we seeing? What information's coming in? Because we've created that reality, and it's flashing back to us like a mirror. That is the mirror world right there.
Because it wants you to stay there, man. It needs to give you what you want because it wants to hook you in. It's like a net. Literally, the internet is fishing. Fishing for what? Fishing for us.
That's right.
People are getting angry because, they're getting their information scraped and their targeted ads are coming up, or I get the hump because my email's starting to fill itself out by the time you type 2 words in a sentence and things. Folks, whoa, that's only scraping the surface, literally scraping the surface, because literally there's a far greater intelligence behind all of that's learning about all of us, learning just what it is that we desire to keep us coming back for more. It's really, really deep, really weird where my head is right now. But Lothar's coming in with super chat, and I thought he was going to blame it all on the Masons. But Lothar, you see, the world's getting weird. He's not even blaming it on the Masons today. We might be on a different timeline. Lothar might be thinking, why is Kev talking about the Masons? You see, with Mandela effects, you never know, Jimmy.
You never know.
You throw Mandela into the kind of model that Max was building last night, and that starts to fit, right? Because you're building out a new virtual reality just like this, and where people's consciousness is going in between, back and forth, depending where your point of yes.
We're all going to be adopted by aliens. Run.
If they sound like Brian, if it sounds like Brian, a big voice like Brian in the sky. Hello, everyone. We have just arrived from Alpha Centauri. No, but I think we need the aliens to turn up right now, Lothar. If they're out there, how the hell do we signal them? Let's get them in here, dude.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I know you're hip to the tall, white alien dude that's on the internet.
Oh, Rudolph, man, what's he been up to?
Well, he came out with a recent video about the biological thing that's going on in China.
Okay, hang on, Rudolph the Tall White.
Yeah, the tall white.
Well,
has got.
before we get to him though, right? Couple of Corona updates, and again, I don't mean to scare anyone. No, it's not me that's going through Chinese cities like a hot knife through butter, but I'm the scary one for talking about it. I'm sorry, but since we last talked about it, it's not as if there hasn't been a big jump in the numbers, unfortunately. To be expected, and again, still, I think this year very much on the low ball side of things. Now, I put a tweet out yesterday. It was an article from Zero Hedge. You know how they're really popular on Twitter? Quite surprised I'm still on Twitter today, to be honest with you. But it was an article about numbers that were published on a Chinese website that may or may not have given us a truer estimation of how bad things are over there. Now, I can't verify if it was real or otherwise, but let's just say that the numbers that were on the website were far closer to the numbers that myself and Jimmy were looking at the other day, coming from Dr. John Campbell when he was talking about the Lancet report. So whether that, now the website in question, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, I apologise, but it kind of rapidly got pulled down, this kind of information, which again makes me err on the side that it probably is accurate. Somebody put it out by mistake. The Communist Chinese Party, doink, no. You know, there you see the Great Firewall of China, definitely. But we're up to near 30,000 now, Jimmy. And we come over to our graph, Scott's graph, as I call it. Myself and Scott, we were blown away when we first started looking at this, thanks to Mr. Metaker. But yeah, that's still pretty much going the way that was predicted, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, doesn't look good. You know, some factoid that I saw yesterday. I haven't verified it myself, but I saw something that there was a mandatory vaccinations that went on starting just December 1st, 2019. So maybe the reason no one's running scared outside of China about what's going on here is because it may have something to do with that vaccine. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but it's an interesting fact. You still there?
No, I'm here. I'm here. I mean, I don't know what vaccine you're talking about, so I can't really say much. But
yeah, I don't know either. But I mean, at this point, like I said, there's over 100 million people that are in lockdown.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's that high, is it? Last I heard it was 55 or something, 55 million. Have they sealed off more now?
Yeah, I think they added something else to that number a little earlier this morning.
Dang. That's...
I know. It's.
We've had another case confirmed in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Treated in a London hospital. It was just from today. Patient did not contract the virus in China, but another Asian country. And of course, if we go back to the map, we can see that there's a few Asian countries that have been affected by this, so you can take your pick there. US still at 12 cases. France is at 6. Germany's at 12. Australia's at 14. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It's a weird one, dude. It's a weird one.
Countries are definitely shutting down air traffic going in and out. And
it's a no-brainer, dude. I mean, even if airlines think, I mean, you got to think of the airlines here as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just insane. If there's a country where something like this is happening, you know, it's not racist, it's not xenophobic, it's none of that to say, listen, until you get that crap sorted out, we're a little bit concerned that you might be carrying a killer bug in our country. It's nothing to do with these people, the Chinese. Nothing to do with that. Anyone telling you that, they're so woke that they can't be saved at this point. They can't be saved. In fact, if they're making a case for allowing people to travel into the country without being checked, and because in the name of all inclusiveness and equality, and we can't be offending people's feelings and things, then you know what I think we should do with those people? We should send them to Wuhan. I'm not joking. What use are these people? They're absolutely off their heads. Let's just be honest about it. I'm fed up trying not to hurt the feelings of people that are woke. They're absolutely insane. There is no longer a fine line between wokeness and insanity. The two have become one, Jimmy. The two have absolutely become one. And when, oh, when is the world going to rebound? When is intellect going to slap off a wall and come back the other way and go, dang, what was that all about?
I know. Well, here it is. I mean, it's, and there's already all these people going, oh, yeah, it's fake and all this. And it's not.
Again, cool, sorted. If it's that fake, when it comes over here, you be the first to go and volunteer and work in the hospital because it's fake.
Well,
there you go.
All I know is if it is, then, there's there's no way that this is fake. And the thing is the amount of strong arming that's going on in China. And I'm not going to bring up some of the rumors that I've seen about some of the proposed solutions to what's going on, because I can't verify any of it, but it's the kind of thing you would imagine in some kind of a government like that, that would be possible. But these people are locked down. Could you imagine I'm just saying, I'm not trying to fear monger or anything. I'm just asking the question. The question is, if I'm told to stay in my little apartment here and I don't know anything about what's going on outside, I can't travel anywhere, I can't get any food, and I just sit in my house with no internet, no phone, and no way of knowing what's going on, and I'm sitting here and I don't know if I caught it or if I have it or if I got it, or if people in my building got it and they come up and they bolt the door shut. I mean, I heard that if people in the building were contaminated with it, that they were bolting door shut. I can't confirm that. It's insanity. Believe me, I'm just in the stuff that we're seeing that may or may not even be real. If a tenth of that stuff is true, yeah, that's another thing. The cruise ships off of Japan. I saw a thing yesterday where they're going to rent cruise ships to use as quarantine spaces.
Yeah, Marty in the chat room. Thank you, Marty. 10 more cases on the cruise ship. I take it'll be something to do with this one here. Keep hearing painful coughs. Life on a quarantined cruise ship. Yeah. Yeah,
so, I don't see how talking about a serious subject is fear mongering. I think that's what we do is we talk.
I'd be more scared if I didn't know something was coming, and then all of a sudden I woke up one day, and then boom, it was here. I would rather know beforehand, as opposed to having my head buried in the sand, or my fingers in my ears, my eyes closed. Nah. I don't know. I don't think we've been overly scary covering it, to be honest with you. I think we've been quite logical. I've also gone down the conspiratorial road as well. We've tried to look at it all ways. And there's not many ways you can look at any kind of pathogen, any kind of pandemic that's going on right now, or any future scenario. How do you talk about that and keep it fun and light? I know I like to add humor at the weirdest of times, Jimmy, but it's
well,
I don't know. It's weird. I tell you,
this is unprecedented in the history of
I've never
human
known
race.
anything like this. Yeah, big time.
If you're not talking about that many millions of people, however many it is, so I don't get it wrong, let's just call it millions and millions.
Yeah, it's not that I'm questioning you. I just know there'll be people out there that, despite everything else we talk about, the one thing they'll take away is either me or you got that number wrong.
Yep. All right.
We've got some super chat coming in from
Yeah,
Spooky
yeah.
Andy. Now, of
Sweet.
course, Jimmy, did you catch Spooky Andy on the Clyde Lewis show after he had been on the Kev Baker show? We got our first scoop on KBS, dude.
Nice.
Jimmy Jeans reminds me of Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Love you, buddy.
I've not actually watched that.
All I need is a cool buzz and a tasty wave.
Is that it, Jim? Is that you?
Yeah, that's right.
You're
No,
my
actually,
surfer bum, man. You're my surfer bum kind of sidekick.
I know. Well, you know what's funny, man, is that character Spicoli. When that movie came out, I looked just like Spicoli because I had long hair and I was a surfer and I lived in San Diego. It's funny.
Nice.
So it's funny, my whole life, people have been throwing me in the Spicoli bucket. And what are you gonna do? You can't.
Hey,
You
Jimmy,
can't.
you're a handsome man when you were younger. I've seen a photo of you, dude. What the hell happened, man?
I don't know, man. I got, hard roads, the heart. When you're blazing trails, man, you get the bush in the face sometimes.
It's a life well lived, Jimmy. That's what
That's
is,
right.
man. Yep.
That's right.
That face tells 1,000 stories.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, in reference to what Max was saying yesterday, old warriors didn't get that way by accident. You know what I mean? So you're gonna carry a few scars here and there, but I'm no worse for the wear, dude, and I'm super stoked to be alive every single day. Open my eyes, I'm happy, because I got to open them up one more time. So, and who knows, maybe when we die, we just wake up in another dream in that other reality that Max was talking about that we're in simultaneous. So we go out here, we just wake up and we're like, oh man, that was just a dream. Right on.
I think the minute you leave the spacesuit, I reckon the minute you leave the confines, the restrictions, the limitations of this biological spacesuit, as magnificent as it is, it kind of puts a dampener on what we really are. Be it a light being, whatever it is, call it the soul, call it what you may. I reckon that very instant when the soul leaves the body, you're going to go, you have got to be kidding me. Is this what it was all about? Honestly, Jimmy, we're going to remember exactly what it was all about. There'll be people sitting there laughing, joking, having a drink. There'll be a party on. And you got to be kidding me on. Level 2. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the way it's going to be. Every night when I go to sleep and I dream, I always think about, when I wake up, I always think about that, because I'm not the first person, obviously. Lots of people have thought about it over time. Philosophers have written books about it. Are we, is this the waking dream that we're in right now? Is the dream world, or is the dream world
Dude,
when we're...
I sometimes think we might be quarks and electrons orbiting around an atom somewhere, just flying about in all of that empty space in between the atoms. You know what I mean? What was an atom made of? 99% free space? I think we might just be doing that. And oh look, what do atoms and planets do? Oh, they orbit. They've got that similar thing going on. I seriously think we're just all a bunch of quantum particles down at the big toe of some being that we have got absolutely no comprehension of, my friend. None whatsoever. Who knows what's going on at this point, right? And on Monday next week, because The Matrix 4 is coming out, can't wait for that to come out, right? Well, we all love The Matrix. I thought it'd be a perfect time to get on somebody who claims to be the actual author of The Matrix. Yes, that's going to be on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss that show. Queen Goddess. Oh, have one for me.
Having a rum and coke to deal with all this stuff.
It's all good. It's all happy. It's all good, Queen. You know that. Last night, I think that was a really uplifting show with Max. Yeah. And I think he needed to do that as much as his really, really strong supporters and his audience needed to hear it, and that's got me in a good kind of positive mindset for tonight going into Bill's show. Really looking forward to that. Now, Bill will be here in hour number 2, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be here for the first hour. And if you are thinking Bill's going to be on for the 2 hours, Bill only comes on for the 1 hour. I'm going to try and twist his arm, see if he'll come on for 2 hours one time soon. I found this over on his website today. This is going to be my new claim to fame, Jimmy, right? Wait a minute now. If I just bring this up here. Where we go? We go over here, right? You got Bill's website and everything else,
nice.
right? And it's got this, look. Bill Bean is a renowned spiritual warfare deliverance minister, exorcist, and is known as the spiritual warrior. He is also an internationally known author, lecturer, and supernatural expert. Bean is currently appearing in an episode of the 2019 Travel Channel series Holzer Files, along with several episodes of the A Haunting series. Now, he regularly joins George Norrie on Coast to Coast and has appeared in the Lifetime movie network series I Was Possessed. And Bill also appears on the Kev Baker show monthly out of Scotland. Beside George Norrie, dude. Come on. Come on, man.
I know. I mean, hey, it's the Kev Baker show in only 1 hour and 45 some odd minutes.
You know, we'll be live. I'll be going for it live.
It's crazy, man.
I know, and I haven't got a thing prepared for tonight, but I'll get it. It's okay. I'll get it sorted. But there's one last little headline about Corona that I think is really interesting. Okay, and this ties in with the kind of stuff that me and Jimmy usually talk about. We like to get into the technology. We like to get into that side of things. Well, what if I tell you coronavirus and technology have crashed together like this? Oh, you're going to love this, folks.
Nice.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're not going to love it, really. The government unveils new electronic tags for people under Wuhan coronavirus home quarantine. And this comes from Hong Kong. The Hong Kong government has announced it has 500 electronic monitoring tags ready to distribute to Hong Kong people placed under home quarantine and upon returning to the SAR, I take it that stands for something Republic, after having spent time in Hubei province, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. And it says here, the government's chief information officer, Victor Lam, unveiled the e-tag at a press conference meeting or briefing this afternoon. Look at the state of that. That looks like something that looks like it's going to blow the guy's hand off. That looks like something you put on a prisoner when they get out of jail if they've been stealing things or something.
Yeah, that's what they said. It was sort of like the monitoring system that they use for people that are in jail.
Oh, wow, man.
Jimmy, you have been nomified LOL in Discord.
You have been nomified, dude. Look at that.
Sweet.
You've been Jimmy Gnomed.
Thank you.
Jimmy Geg Gnome or Jimmy Genome. I like that. I like that. We're gonna
Me too.
Yeah, we'll keep that on the stream just as a reminder. We'll have that up in your corner.
Thanks a mil. That's cool, man. Hey, so this thing is exactly what we were talking about, though. This is a wrist-wearing device, but I mean, this is what we were talking about the other day about how the measures, that subsequent measures after something like this happens, that all of a sudden become every day. Like you said, the thing looks like a bomb, man. What if you go out there? If you're contaminated, you go outside the zone, it just goes, and you just turn to white dust.
If it starts making that noise on the bus, it's time to put a water bottle over your head, slip into a body condom, and just adopt a really fetal position until they get that sneezing lunatic off the bus. Can't miss them coming, Jimmy.
You know what, man? And the thing about it is, what's so heinous about all of this is that I also have seen some documentation that suggests that even after you have caught this and you've lived through it, you're still contagious.
Oh,
So
what, man? No,
yeah,
come on, dude.
no,
Dang.
yeah. So and that's the thing, right? So people are.
Every time you walk in a building and you're sneezing, that thing's gonna go off. Everyone's gonna know, dude.
I know. Well, here's the thing. For 2 weeks, until you display symptoms, you're contagious, and then when you're sick, you're contagious, and then when you get better, you're contagious. So it sounds like it's never going to end. Is what it sounds like.
Wait, what was that?
It sounds like it's never ever going to end.
How dare you?
All right, right. Yeah, she was angry at you, Jimmy. She's angry at you. Come on, man. Come on. But yeah, Brett Munson in the chat room. We've got 5G will be used to transmit lethal shocks. Dang, you people have got a really nasty imagination. That's worse. At least I only had a siren. It wasn't that bad. I'm saying.
Well, I mean, the scientist working on transistor-sized viruses that got arrested for sharing information with China is pretty interesting in relation to that idea that maybe there's something going on wirelessly. But I mean, if I was going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a little bit out there. That's on the one side of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I don't think wireless transmission has anything to do with it. I think this is definitely something to, be concerned about as far as, especially if you're Chinese. I mean, if this was a world-killing pandemic, wouldn't they line up ships and surround China and keep things from going in and out? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. People are still ordering stuff that's coming from China. Like my mom makes different stuff. She does crafts, and so she belongs to these groups on Facebook that they buy these molds and stuff to make these crafts, and most of the stuff comes from China, man. And so all these old ladies are up on the Facebook going, "What are we going to do?" About these deliveries from China. So all these deliveries are coming in on a daily basis. People are getting stuff delivered that could have been in transit before all this happened.
Dang, dude,
But
we've got some famous people in the chat today. We've got somebody
nice.
called Tia Marriott, who owns the Marriott Hotel. There you go.
Hey, Tia.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Hey,
Marriott
that
Hotel's
rhymes.
nice. If you do own the Marriott Hotel, I would love to have a penthouse suite for a year, if you can do it. No rent, obviously. Come on.
Obviously,
I'll give you a KBS sign, some free swag. What will that do? I don't know, Jimmy. It was worth a try, right?
I know. Well, hey, we can say, hey, Tia, it's nice to see you. And it rhymes. So it's a beautiful name also. So welcome in to the chat room.
Mark says, if you smoke in public, then cough, you'll have men in funny garb come and grab you. There's videos of that out there. There's videos. I mean, I don't know how many are real and how many are not, but when you put it into context of, let's just go lowball, Jimmy, 50 million, right? What it was. Let's go there. Let's just keep it low estimates. We'll play it down. Don't want to scare anyone. But if you are quarantining a place and it is out of control, you know what? You would expect to see people getting hooked up in the street and things and the kind of videos we're seeing. And, Shockaroony, we're seeing that kind of videos.
It's shoot to kill, man. It's shoot to kill. If you're in the
Jimmy's
zone,
gone full on. He's going full zombie, man.
no, I'm telling you, over there, it's shoot to kill. If they say you're quarantined, you're quarantined. You come outside that building, boom, you're going to take one to the head. And they don't care. Like I said yesterday or the day before, the human capital over there is worth way less than it is anywhere else because there's so many people. And, I don't know, man. All I know is, if the situation was reversed and that was going on here in America, this would be like one scene of another of any of those movies that have been put out there, about this. I mean, I always think about The Stand just because inside the facility, something goes wrong. The alarm starts going, and one dude looks around and goes, I'm getting out of here, man.
Think about that, Jimmy. You go back to this, though, right? And let's just say, let's go hypothetical situation, right? And it takes a mutation, And it does start to show us cases of high numbers outside China, right? And then you've got so many people work as what, civil servants, government workers. Imagine they tell you you need to have one of them to get onto like work property, because you know you have to have it because you don't want it going through the workplace. And as much as a truther, or as everything else that you may be and everything you've spoke about in the past, here comes the crunch, isn't it? Because it's either you stand by your morals and you stand there and say, no, not taking it. Then you go home and tell your wife and your kids you ain't feeding them anymore. Or you're in a dilemma, aren't you? And that's how easy it can be, Jimmy. That's how easy it could get for them to introduce something like that. You know, widespread.
What if you have to show that? What if, okay, so here, let's game it out right here. So the scenario is the city's closed down. There's no stores. There's no food. There's only what you have in your house. Most people have a couple days. Everything's just in time delivery. So once the trucks stop rolling, the food stops coming in. So now there's no food. So you've been contaminated, and the only way that you're going to get to the food supply.
Fearmonger.
Hey, the only way you get to the food supply is if you come over and get the vaccine. And once you get the vaccine, you're going to get this special little taggy right there. And once you have that little tag, that means you can go over to the food area and get your food. And so that's, you know, everybody says they won't comply or they won't go to the FEMA camps or whatever. Yeah, you won't go to the FEMA camps, but you won't get any food unless you comply. And so
this is why something like this, fake, real, concocted, wag the dog, see how it can get used for so many things, folks. And if we're, you know, I mean, think about people who really, they think the government really do protect them and they really do keep them safe at night, and that's why they can go to bed and everything. The world's, you know, just the same way when they get up each day. You know, imagine what they feel like when they're watching all of this, the people that aren't aware of the programming that goes on and everything else, you know. I tell you, people would be about willing to do just about anything, I think, Jimmy. Because 9 times out of 10, you ask people, have you seen some of the videos coming out of China? And the first word you get is scary. Yep. That's the first word you usually get, man.
Well, the thing is that if the rest of the country here in America or everybody in the UK was getting access to the information that's being put out there by the alternative media, people would be panicking and self-quarantining all over the place, because the real information, or the information that is getting put out outside the mainstream, is information that would cause anybody in their right mind to be concerned.
I'm not the alternative media. We're not alternative media here, folks. We're just we're just a guy with a mic and an opinion. That's it. That's all we are. A couple of dudes. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is that the promotion of what gets in heavy rotation on the news has nothing to actually do with what's going on the internet.
I mean, I see somebody in the chat room was saying all the news is mainly about Trump today. And if it was anything less than being acquitted, you know, from that kind of impeachment, I would be thinking, you know, wow, they're using anything to knock the corona down the news cycle. But that in itself is quite historic, no matter what you think of the guy. Do you know what I mean? I think it's only happened 3 times in the history of presidents, right? So it doesn't matter how, it is historic, and I get it. They will show that. It was the main news on the UK websites as well. But corona right below it, and those numbers, they ain't going down.
No. Don't forget about the tall white.
Ah, yeah, we're going to check out what the tall white had to say.
He definitely has something to say about the biological aspects.
And we've been following Rudolph for a while on this channel, and people sometimes think, oh, you're just mocking him, you're just having fun.
No, I
find it an entertaining channel. I like to see what he's been putting out. I think Rudolph is kind enough. I think it was King one time I told him we'd play some of his videos, and he was quite fine with it. And I remember the one where he shows off his mighty strength. That's probably my favourite one. So we're gonna have a look, see what he's saying here today about this.
Human friends, this is Rudolph the tall white alien.
Oh, hang on. There we go.
I spoke in the Corona update video about a second virus besides the coronavirus, which of course is also a weapon-grade artificial virus, will be set free on different parts of planet Earth. Now today you can in the news see that in Saudi Arabia, Vietnam and other places, this particular bird flu virus has been strategically deployed.
Now, there is actually... No, there is, because there's an outbreak in India.
He's the tall white alien, man. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it looks now...
Go there.
Here we go. Try to find it. Bird flu, China's ticking time bomb of infectious disease. As the world grapples with Wuhan coronavirus, a new disease emerges. A highly fatal bird flu known as H5N1. Dang. Highly pathogenic strain of bird flu, H5N1, has caused an outbreak in China's Hunan province, near ground zero of the deadly coronavirus. The disease doesn't easily infect humans, thank goodness, but when it does, it carries a staggering mortality rate of 60%. That's according to the World Health Organization. In China, oh no shit, Sherlock, it is a hotbed of emerging diseases. As the country rises to economic prominence, this puts the global economy at risk. Yeah, go figure. Rudolph.
It is not a natural occurrence, and the World Health Organization is not doing or did what was necessary to contain that virus and save the human population. You might by now get the idea that the lack of action on the part of the authorities has been done purposefully. A culling of the human population is what the New World Order has ordered, and this is, and if you like, you can go back to my video coronavirus update. You can go back and see already there back then that my prophecy of other viruses, or another virus in this case, has been made. And today you can find this information also in the news. I would suggest for the future to keep an eye on my videos if you would like to have information of...
Isn't it just the weird kind of type of universe that we're in? That, you know, we've had a laugh and a joke, we've watched Rudolph singing his songs, and we've seen him doing his super strength, and wouldn't it just be like the universe to actually send somebody like this? Wouldn't it? You know, people just laugh and joke, and you know, that would be the test, wouldn't it? You know, that would be the test of how you judged somebody. You judged them by how he looked, you judged them how he sounded. And then it comes to a serious topic like what's going on now. Dang, I was hanging off his every word there, dude.
Me too. Me too. I mean, who knows?
Don't know.
I don't know either, but I know that people have always talked about the tall whites. And they've always said, you know,
and he has to wear 2 pairs of glasses, in case anyone hasn't noticed. What's that all about?
Because he's so sensitive to the light, man.
What I'm talking about, dude.
He may even have red eyeballs.
Now you're just taking it too far. He's not Mothman Rudolph. He's Rudolph the Tall White.
No, I just mean like rabbit eyes. You know, like when albinos.
Now come on, man. That's creepiness. There's something creepy. There's something really sinister about an albino, dude.
You think?
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, where did they come from? Maybe they're descendants of the tall whites. Who knows?
Don't know,
Maybe
dude.
that.
But oh yeah, there's something. Hey, I don't mean to offend any albino out there, but I don't know. Something, I don't know, man. I don't know. It looks a bit different. Don't know, dude.
I know. There was a musician.
Kev's an albinoist. Oh no. Unsub him.
They used to have to spray fluorescent paint on the edge of the stage when this musician would play because he was an albino and he had red eyes. He couldn't see at night. So they had to spray this fluorescent line at the front of the stage so he wouldn't fall off. But I mean, listen, I have light eyes. I have blue eyes. I have to wear glasses when there's any light because it just beams. I mean, my eyes are so sensitive to light. I can only imagine what it must be like to be a tall white.
It comes from a planet when there's only like 2 days of sunlight every 10 years. Oh, it'd be horrible, dude. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just the way this universe works, isn't it? Isn't it? It's got a sense of humor programmed into how reality works. And, they probably would. If there's somebody out there we should be listening to, they would make them look like the most ridiculous character ever. Not that I'm calling Rudolph the most ridiculous character, but you get what I'm saying, Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
It would almost be like a test. Do you judge the person by what they appear like, what they tend to act like? Or do you truly open your heart and listen to everything they say on a case-by-case basis? You get the crazy videos where he's lifting up the cones, and then comes along a coherent thing like this. I'm not saying that Rudolph's our savior. I'm not saying that, but wouldn't that be the way, though? Wouldn't that be like the kind of universal karma or universal something, like a quirk in the code, Jimmy? It's going to be somebody that normally, typically, you would look at and go, guy's off his head. Not listening to that fella. And, well, more fool you, eh? Because maybe, and I'm not saying Rudolph is this person before the internet goes wild, okay? No, but think about it, right? Think about it. If I was running a universe, or if I was running a planet, and the people had one last chance, I'll give them one last go. I think I would make it almost a cryptic kind of clue. And if you get it, you get it, but if you don't, well, hell mend you. Maybe, Jimmy, it's the ultimate test of all. They send us Rudolph the Tall White, and we've passed. Rudolph, please let it be known here on the 6th of February, I pledge myself to the Tall Whites. Take me with you, brother. I'm out of here. Oh, but hang on. What if they're all albino on that planet? There's a tall white thing going on, Jimmy.
Well, all I know is he could be the Cinderella story that came out of nowhere. He could be that the person that everyone's looking.
Oh, look at you! Look at you toxic, old-fashioned misogynist. What bringing up Cinderella? A childhood story of a woman oppressed. Looking to a man for her shoe. Imagine that, Jimmy. Imagine it. Oh, you need to get woke, man.
Well, the thing is you got to spell women with a Y and take out the man. Okay, so it's WOMYN. You got to take out the man of woman. See?
Wow, man.
But hey, listen, it is a Cinderella story. It is a coming out of nowhere as a metaphor, as it were. But it's not Dr. No Means No. I mean, with the new 007, female 007, I think the new movie coming out is Dr. No Means No, Kev, is what I think. It was what I understand.
I think so, dude. I think so. And on that note, Jason says Kev's off with the racist aliens to hate the albinos. I told you this would start something, right? That's not me, Jason. It's Dave Baker's like that. He's terrible, man. He's awful.
There's so many different shades of white. I mean,
so many different shades of Kev that it's unbelievable.
That's true.
Like a little rainbow, Jimmy. A little rainbow. Well,
you should
folks,
let the Dave Baker out. Let the Dave Baker out, Kev.
The Dave Baker comes out when I go live on TFR. Good morning. Good afternoon. This is Unplugged. Dave's plugged. I'm Kev, unplugged. I don't have a split personality. Don't go down that road either, trolls. You can if you want. If it gives you something to make a video about, have at it. It's cool. I think we can all agree there's far more important things going on in the world. And people would rather watch Rudolph than watch anything you've got to say about yours truly. I can trust me on that one. But I will be back later. Less than an hour and a half. You might have to join me on the phone or something for hour one, Jimmy. I don't know, dude. I might be struggling to fill hour one here, and we need to get the kind of paranormal, the supernatural, or as we call it here on KBS, we need to get the woo warmed up, man, for Bill Bean coming on.
Yeah, well, they were saying earlier that it looks like I've become the keeper of the crypt with my stuff going on behind me here. So maybe, yeah, I'd be open to that, man. So I'm around. So just let me know. I'm here.
We might just do that. But Jimmy, don't show it on camera. But you've got the creepiest ass doll in your crypt.
I know.
Oh, folks, this is like. No. Look, I'm laughing. It's not good.
The thing is, there's a story behind it too. Maybe we'll get into it another time. Maybe on the members only stream, I'll bring it out for you, bro.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I didn't even, that wasn't even planned. But now you mention it, if you would like to become a member of this mayhem, this madness that goes on here, we give you daily content, sometimes 2 shows. Often just the one, but every Sunday for our members that go that extra yard and show so much faith in me and all the people I bring on, then we have a VIP KBS stream. Yes, indeed. So if you're a member, it's going to be Sunday at 9 p.m. in the UK. Now, I'm going to be posting it later today after the show with Bill. It will be in the Discord, the members only Discord room, okay? It will also be on my YouTube channel. It's a post only for members. You'll be the ones that can only see that. And I will periodically, in other words, every stream between now and then, I'll remind you that that's going to be happening. And while I'm talking about streams that are going to be happening, we all know I've got Freaky Friday tomorrow night. But there's something pretty special going on before that. Because at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, I'm going to be joined by the one, the only.
How dare you?
Not Greta Thunberg. Popeye is going to be on the show tomorrow from 8 p.m. in the UK. That's 3 p.m. on the East Coast and midday if you are on the West Coast. If you're down under Brisbane time, it will be 8 a.m. in the morning. And apart from that, Australia is a big place. There's a few time zones. I can't help you. But yeah, Popeye tomorrow, Freaky Friday, weekend streams. Jimmy's back. The guys will be back for Freaky tomorrow. Bill's on tonight. And myself and maybe Jimmy will be back here just over an hour from now. I'll get you the link. You need the link? Did I hear you say you need the link? I heard you say you need the link. You know what, Jimmy? I've got the link right here. Yes,
I'm gonna start a rumor. I'm gonna start a rumor right here, right now. Greta is a 27-year-old Romanian actress.
Oh, dude, cool. Are you gonna be like the new Dallas Goldbug? Are you gonna do like forensic analysis of the ear and then show it for a split second in a video and go away?
No, but there was actually a story here in the United States where a woman adopted a child from Romania, and it turned out that the child was 22 years old. No kidding.
No, I've heard of that. I think it may be the same story, but Jason says on a Friday before 10 p.m. I know. It could be the show that might just be too much for the UK censors. I don't know. We'll have to see. It may be the stream where it all ends. Any stream can be the stream where it all ends, folks. You do realise that. It's the same for any YouTuber. It's a perilous, perilous, perilous world that we play in, and as much as everything is going swimmingly right now, all you great members out there, super chats, we've got the stickers, We're included in the kind of testing of the shout outs to you, the members. Your pictures come up on other videos thanking you and things like that. Still could go away just like that. That's the game we play. And I'm very aware of that. Jimmy's aware of that, but I hope you're all aware of that as well. And that's why sometimes I'll change the words in an article, or I'll find a way of talking about something that maybe you shouldn't be talking about, but I'm not stupid. It all comes to an end one day, folks, and let's just make the most of it while we've got it. You know, Jimmy was talking about waking up every day and just being grateful that your eyes are opening. It's another day. Just be grateful every time you see himself or Jimmy or any of the guests coming on here, any of the shows on TFR, any of your favourite YouTubers. A very, very, it's like quicksand, Jimmy. It's like quicksand, man. Here 1 minute, gone the next, dude. Where'd he go?
I know. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that philosophy. You're over there philosophizing. But can't wait to see you. Like I said, if you need me, I'm there. Bill Bean at 3 Pacific tonight on your show on TFR, TFRlive.com.
Yeah, well, I would probably need you more for the first hour.
No, I'm there.
Well, we'll be back then, folks. I need to get going now, though, because I need to get fed. My dinner is getting steadily colder as I look at it.
Do you still have the lentil soup from yesterday, or did you finish that?
Oh, dude, that got finished in 2 days.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got finished, man.
I'm going to go make myself a hot pastrami with Swiss on Jewish rye.
Spaghetti bolognese for me tonight.
Oh,
and
man.
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, and get ready, because you're about, what, an hour and 20 minutes away from what so many of you have been wanting me to talk about. No, not that pesky virus. You want me to get back into the woo, because that's what we do right here on KBS. So tonight, for all of you, it's woo all the way. Self and Jimmy in hour number 1, and of course our spiritual warrior, the deliverance minister, the exorcist himself, and somebody I proudly call a friend and a brother, Bill Bain, will be here, and he'll be telling us about his latest escapades and battles against the dark forces. You know, maybe you're somebody who knows somebody, or you are somebody that's in a house or a property that may have, you know, that extra little bump in the night that you don't know where it's coming from. Maybe you've witnessed something. Maybe, you know, you feel like there's something around you. Tune in tonight, because Bill Bean, I can't recommend anyone higher than him. Probably one of the nicest guys I've come across, even if we weren't doing shows together. He's there, bang, anytime I need him, Bill's there. And I know he's helped a lot of people through the show. And that's why I say, if maybe you think something in your life, there's a bit of supernatural, paranormal, tune in tonight, listen to Bill, go and check out his other work as well, because I think there'll be something in many of the shows we've done that will probably relate to whatever you're going through out there. We've spoke about so much in the past, and the thing that gets me with Bill is, and he messages me off air as well, is that it always gets more and more intense as time goes on, Jimmy. You know, it always, you're talking about things manifesting and just the supernatural kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what he has to say, man. I mean, the last show you guys did was a good one, and you know, he's always bringing intense happenings to the table right here on your show. So I'm looking forward to it too, man.
And Tony Phillips was asking if Prince Andrew sweats. Oh, come on, Tony. Everyone knows Prince Andrew cannot possibly physically sweat, because he can't. Right? Right? Yeah, cheers for that, Prince Andy. Don't get me started on the Royals, or I'll still be here when it comes showtime. I know that's what you're trying to do, folks. You're trying to bait me into it. One of these days, I'll do the long haul. Oh, yes, indeed, and I'll make you all stay the whole way. All the way through, yes. All the way, Jimmy. Not just the tip. All the way, my friend. All the way. And on that note, well, we'll be back in less than an hour. I'm going to drop the link one more time for the Bill Show in the description. in the chat even. There you go. Join us over there. The chat room's open. And we'll be back very, very soon. We're out of here. And you know what's coming. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.